They told us AI would slash costs, no more bloated headcount, no more salary negotiations, no days off, no more HR headaches at all, just clean, tireless, cheap automation. So how did a 3-person team end up burning through $1.3 million in AI tokens in a single month? Welcome to the token economy, where cutting costs somehow got very, very expensive. We all heard the pitch from Frontier Labs about how AI agents were cheaper, tireless replacements for coding and back office workers. And even if they weren't going to replace employees, they would supercharge their work and ultimately increase their capacity to do more. But now we're seeing reports that companies are spending more on tokens than the employees' salaries the AI agents were supposed to replace. We went from slowly adopting LLMs to full-blown agentic replacement efforts, and now companies are actively promoting Tokenmaxxing, where employees are encouraged to use AI for everything. And we're not talking about tens or even hundreds of thousands spent on tokens. One 3-person team at OpenClaw burned through $1.3 million in tokens in a single month. You may be asking, what did they build with all those tokens? The short answer is a really expensive proof of concept that shows how fast autonomous coding agents can burn cash when you don't put a cap on token usage. You know, one of the best ways to support small YouTube channels like mine is to subscribe. If you like the content and you'd like to see more of it, consider subscribing. Back to the episode. All right, just a quick timeout to explain what tokens are and how they work. The grossly simplistic explanation is that tokens are the atomic units of AI text, tiny chunks the model processes, and they also represent a unit of cost. The more tokens needed, the more tokens purchased by the user or company. You can think of AI tokens like the old cell phone plans you bought by the minute. Every prompt and every word the model sends back eats a few minutes. Simple questions are quick calls. Agentic workflows are marathon conference calls. When you give your whole company unlimited minutes and tell them to use it for everything, don't be surprised when the bill looks like you just called Mars. Cyber News reported some tech firms that laid off staff and replaced them with agents are now paying 5 times more for AI than the salaries they, quote, saved. Jason Calacanis, the investor and podcast co-host of All In, recently shared that agent costs quickly rose to $300 a day per user while using the Claude API at one of his organizations. But those $100,000 a year agents were replacing only a fraction of an employee's work. While Jason makes my skin crawl, he makes an excellent point. Not only are their token costs exceeding equivalent payroll costs, AI agents are only completing some of the work and falling well short of being a complete replacement for their human predecessors. And tech CFOs are starting to notice this explosion of token usage and the associated costs. Axios, Futurism, and others report CFOs are, quote, alarmed to discover that AI bills are rivaling or exceeding certain headcount costs and, quote, not obviously improving output, end quote. In sum, costs are exploding and they aren't effectively replacing the output of what are now less expensive employees. I recently published an episode that explains the scalability problem AI has as a business model. That CapEx spend is dwarfing current and likely future revenue, meaning AI companies are spending 60 to 100 times on building AI capacity compared to the revenue generated through usage. And analysts believe that CapEx spend won't decrease anytime soon, so current pricing for these models has almost no chance of closing that delta. So why is demand for these tokens so high? Simply put, companies believe they are rebuilding their foundational technical operating systems. Individual agents are crushing token budgets right now, but once enough of those agents have been built, they start working together and automating whole functional areas of the company. At least that's the theory. And Goldman Sachs noted token costs are declining 60 to 70% per year due to better chips and architectures, but also states that token consumption will multiply 24 times by 2030 to about 120 quadrillion tokens per month. So even if tokens continue to get cheaper, everyone is planning on using many more of them. So what's the potential bull case for this rise of the token economy? While we may be tired or skeptical of the efficiency arguments that toad AI's ability to optimize or multiply the effective output of users, we can't definitively dismiss this as it's still unclear that AI budgets are being deployed efficiently by companies taking down tokens like nachos at a widespread panic show. Big tech has a habit of burning cash at alarming rates, or in the case of tokens, cash equivalents. Tokenmaxxing isn't exactly an exercise in austerity. Additionally, many companies are viewing this as an investment in gaining market share more quickly. If they can automate the coding for a feature set or update data sets or push releases more quickly, they can get those products to market faster. Those companies aren't considering this as a cost-cutting measure at all. AI agents have been shown to perform well at repetitive, rule-based tasks that companies have been paying overqualified employees to do. Over time, as more of those simple tasks are handled by agents, some layer of the human capital stack is replaced and at a lower cost. Remember those CFOs I mentioned earlier suffering sticker shock from token usage? Apparently they're getting over it. As Bain reported, the CFOs they surveyed are increasing AI investment by an average of 15% this year. Deloitte goes further, saying CFOs are treating AI initiatives like a portfolio. Some of those projects are efficiency plays, some are decision quality projects, and they may include a few attempts to build moonshot innovations. The implied bet is that the overall portfolio ROI will justify rising token spend. Despite these CFOs' acceptance of soaring token budgets, a majority of them are not yet finding measurable ROI from AI. Pragmatic Engineering describes internal tools where token spend quietly became one of the largest cost drivers, forcing teams to throttle usage or downgrade models. And this is driving companies and technology teams to force square pegs into round holes. Axios found that some companies are forcing workers to use immature AI agents that are making their jobs harder, as staff has to debug AI mistakes, correct hallucinations, and fight new modes of failure. The mountains of tech debt being created by Vibe and agentic coding have been widely reported. The code is written quickly and debugged. It's deployed and works great until a parameter changes. Then something breaks. Something simple, but given how interconnected this agentic work is becoming, that simple failure can take down whole systems. Meta, Amazon, and others have had high-profile internal incidents where aggressive AI rollouts created internal chaos without clear productivity gains, adding risk on top of the cost. And none of those pitfalls seem to dampen demand that will likely increase as costs come down. This is referred to as the Jevons Paradox. Every step change in model capability, like better reasoning, multimodal capabilities, and higher performing agents, creates new use cases and higher acceptable token spend. Now, layer in the executive management AI neophytes that will do almost anything not to appear to have underinvested in AI, just in case all of this works out. Consuming stacks of tokens seems like a reasonable way to demonstrate their strategic resolve. Surely, if we keep allocating heaps of cash to our internal AI development, we'll spend our way through this. And Forbes agrees. They're projecting token usage will increase 155 times between now and 2030. Despite the lack of clear ROI, demand appears to be winning over the threat of soaring costs. Tirias Research published a piece that summed up this flywheel of demand as AI agents become their own token users. Tirias notes that as agentic APIs roll out, AI will start generating its own AI usage. Agents calling agents, background workflows, automated research, synthetic data generation, multiplying token flows beyond direct human prompts. Imagine what it will cost once agents have their own credit card. If you've ever been in an old school auto mechanic shop, you may have seen the sign that says you can have it done fast, you can have it done cheap, you can have it done right, but you can only pick two. And that's probably where we are right now with AI: speed, quality, and cost. You can have two of the three, but not all three. Despite multi-billion-dollar budgets and hordes of MIT and Stanford graduates, these huge companies can't escape the same business reality of an auto shop. Tokens will get cheaper, models will get better, and a handful of disciplined, well-run teams will extract genuine, measurable value from all of this. That version of the bull case is valid. But most enterprises aren't capable of running a strategic AI portfolio. They're just throwing stuff at a wall to see what sticks and feverishly exclaim they are AI forward to any board member or shareholder that will listen. The mechanic sign said it best: fast, cheap, good, pick two. And right now, most companies think they can have all three. They can't. And the bill will eventually make that painfully clear. That's it for this episode. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.